We never for 1 second believed that we would ever get relegated, and that made a real difference to us in those relegation scraps.
Alright, it is half-time here at St Mary's Stadium, and I have the great pleasure of being joined by Matt Le Tissier. Firstly, you must have played in quite a few FA Cup fixtures. Is any particular one stand out for you?
Yeah, I think one of the standout ones for me was, I think it was 1990. We went to Spurs in the third round away from home, and we beat them 3-1. And obviously I was a Spurs fan as a kid, so that was quite special. I got on the score sheet that day. So yeah, that was one that kind of sticked out for me. The other one that sticks out in a not so good way was the quarter-final a couple of years later when we were winning 1-0 away at Norwich, and I got sent off and we ended up losing the game.
Oh yeah.
Costing my team a place in the semi-final, so yeah, that's always kind of disappointed me, that one.
Yeah, I'm sure that'd be a pretty tough memory to steal with you. But looking aside to the league as it stands at the moment, obviously Southampton in a pretty desperate situation. You yourself have been in many relegation battles. What is it like as a player in that dressing room? I mean, what do they turn to? And obviously they're all professionals, but what is it they turn to?
Well, I think what we turned to was our team spirit and our unity. I think that was the big thing that kind of helped keep us up. We kept ourselves positive in the changing room. We never for 1 second believed that we would ever get relegated. Having said that, we were never on 6 points going into the new year, so I'm not sure even I could get us out of this trouble. But yeah, no, it was I think for me the unity, the team spirit, the bond that we had as players was the big thing that kept us up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's going to be absolutely massive going forward. Obviously, it's quite difficult as a fan to look on them, but do the players feel that pressure when the fans are generally kind of on their back? Oh
yeah, you know when you're not playing well, and you know the crowd do get on your back sometimes, and you know you've just got to be professional about it. You know, you've got to dig in. You know, you've got to get through those periods, because you go through whole career in football, you're never going to go through in a straight line. Your form is always going to go up and down, up and down. It's just one of those games, and so through the down times you have to remember that it doesn't last forever, and it will change. And I think that was one of the things that we had, even in those periods where we weren't winning games, we were still going into the next game believing that we could win it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And confidence, it must be a massive thing. I mean, especially as a young player out there, and we do have a lot of young players on our side. Yeah. But equally, when the fans are on the side, then that can make a bit of a difference.
Oh, it makes a massive difference. You know, when one of the things I always say when we were in those relegation scraps in the 90s, that the atmosphere at the Dell towards the back end of the season, when it was really tight and we really needed them, the crowd were amazing, and it does. It's unbelievable how the crowd can transfer energy onto the players in the pitch with that support, and that made a real difference to us. I think those towards the back end of the season in those relegation scraps.
Makes a huge difference. Well, I certainly speak for myself and many other Southampton fans when I thank you for your loyalty to this club. Thank you for sticking with us in all those relegation battles. It must have been quite something, though, to be able to sort of, I want to say, carry the team over the line and work with coach. But did you enjoy that responsibility?
I loved playing football. I loved the responsibility of being the one in the team who was meant to score the goals, meant to set the goals up. You know, that's what I was good at. That was my job. And yeah, the more responsibility I had, the better I thrived on it.
Okay, well, Matt, thanks so much for that. How do you see this one ending off? Do you think it's going to be a stick at 2-0, maybe a couple more?
I'd like to see a couple more, because I think if we can get a really convincing win under our belt, it'll give the boys a real lift confidence-wise, and I think that's what's pretty low at the moment. I think you saw against Brentford just how low the confidence was when the goals started going in. So to get a decent win, so I hope we don't just kind of sit back and think that 2-0 is good enough. I think if we could finish 4 or 5-0, that could give us a real lift going into some really tricky fixtures that we got coming up.
Yeah, Matt, that's amazing. Thanks so much.